Today's video, I'm going to go over all the updates and changes that they added with this iteration of the Title 3 update. We're going to go ahead and start off with the gameplay notes. So the first one they're going to be talking about is a new switch stick delay option. It can be found in the game options menu. You'll be able to select from 4 options. There's the no delay, slight delay, large delay, and disable switch stick altogether. I know I had a lot of issues with making a lot of pre-snap adjustments and getting caught pre-snap, making those certain adjustments, and then switch to a safety, and then my whole defensive play being blown up. So I'm glad they give you the option to change it up a little bit. Another thing they fixed is they fixed an issue where players would receive a speed boost when using custom stems and smart routing. There's an increased responsiveness of the pass block sliders for users and CPU. They fixed an issue where defenders can slip through double teams without an appropriate animation. So those glitchy pass rushes that the computer or some users get will be toned down a little bit from what I'm seeing. They also fixed the general CPU play call and coach suggestion tuning across all game modes. And they added a dev note in there. They said, we will monitor feedback on this and make necessary changes in the future title updates. Another big one is that they increase the effectiveness of pass committing versus trick plays, and they increase the risk of run committing from man coverage. To continue on the gameplay, EA also increased the chances of defensive linemen to sniff out halfback screens. So those cheesy halfback screens that people like to run sometimes, your defensive line will react to that better. They also added new formations to the game. So just to name a few, they have a pistol weak slot over from Texas A&M and Cincinnati. They added a pistol ace double wing to Ball State, a single back wing slot over for UConn and Charlotte, and a pistol bunch open for Missouri, just to name a few. They also made some big changes to Dynasty mode, the biggest one being enabling the ability to edit ratings for non-NIL players and recruits. Now, I don't know if this is going to come with the numbers or changing their player image or being able to customize their face, but this is a huge W, being able to add a little bit more customization to Dynasty mode. I get the whole NIL situation, but this is going to be huge. Another thing they updated was the playing time in those Super Sim games. So now the play time will scale to the selected quarter length. So if you're on 15-minute quarters, your team could have 90 points if you're up by 50 whenever you start simming in the first quarter or whatever. I don't know, that's a bad example, but you get, I mean, it's sim gameplay is going to correlate to the in-game time that you have set. Another huge addition for Dynasty mode is they enabled mass subs. I know a lot of people were asking for this and we were begging for this, and it finally came. Me personally, I was really hoping that they would be able to add this somehow. And again, they added it this year. I thought it would be next year by the time they would add it, but they have enabled mass sub for online and offline Dynasty games. Only when playing against the computer, though. It goes on to say you'll be able to sub in either your entire second unit if your starters are in, or your entire starting group if your second unit is in. So this is huge. I understand why it's only in the AI games. Maybe, you know, you're playing your buddy and the games are usually close, so you might not even have to use the mass subs playing a real person like that often. But more importantly, for those offline players, and you know, if you have your own personal dynasty that you have on the side and you want to rest your players, it made it easier for you to just mass sub everybody out and rest your starters, because we all know that wear and tear is no joke towards the end of the season. EA also made some further tuning of the award system, so I guess the award races will be a little bit more realistic. And they also fixed an issue with the stat display for Returner of the Year. EA also made some updates to the Road to Glory mode. They gave us the ability to audible regardless of what position you're lined up in on the field. So if you're a linebacker, you're a corner, you know, you're a running back, you'll be able to audible, I'm guessing, at any time. So I'm guessing they took the coach trust aspect out of the audible and just gave us, the users, a little bit more freedom to change the plays so we don't leave a school because our coach sucked and called bad plays all the time. Another thing is they retuned the starting attributes for all halfback archetypes, which includes an increase to speed, agility, change of direction, and stamina. I haven't personally created a halfback yet. That's going to be the next one I'm going to do, but I have heard a lot of complaints about the playing time as halfback, and EA updated that as well. They said they're going to lower the times that you get pulled from games after a big run. So apparently there were times where halfbacks would make like a big run or a big rushing touchdown and they wouldn't play for like 2 or 3 series. So EA addressed that, and apparently they fixed that. The last thing they updated, they retuned starting attributes for all corner archetypes, which includes an increase of speed, stamina, acceleration, and agility. A few presentation and UI updates that EA added, they introduced new uniforms for Arkansas State, UAB, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Monroe, Tennessee, ECU, West Virginia, UMass, Charlotte, Ohio State, Colorado State, and Minnesota. And they updated some uniforms for the 2024 season for Charlotte, Cal, Tulsa, and Miami of Ohio. And the most important thing is they added new NIL players from multiple teams into the game. So for those players that opted in after the game was released or after the first update, they are now in the game. And I'm sure EA will continue updating this as we get towards the end of the year. Overall, I think this is a really big W for EA. They addressed a lot of the concerns that we had as players. And I can appreciate all the efforts and the listening to the fans that EA has been doing over these past couple of months since the game released. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think the biggest W was from this Title III update? And what are you still waiting for EA to add into the game? Also, if you made it this far into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, because I'll be keeping you updated on all the college football 25 knowledge every time it drops.